What's going on, everyone? This is Patty XRP coming to you from the DeFi Standard. We have our third installment here of our Flare Reward series. And in this one, we're going to show you the true eighth wonder of the world, coming straight from Albert Einstein's mouth, and that is compound yield. So we're going to take what we did in the last two videos with earning FTSO rewards, as well as earning our F asset rewards through either the FLTC pool or the general F asset pool. And we are going to start compounding those together. So once you earn some Spark from your F asset minting, then you can immediately go and delegate votes to a signal provider so you can earn more Spark from the FTSO. And remember, the FTSO, it's a detachable vote, so there's no risk as your token does not need to be with the signal provider in order for that functionality. That's the beautiful beauty of programmable money, is that detachable vote. That's just one instance having a risk-free yield attached to an asset. We'll have to see what that does for the long-term price, but I definitely think that puts a little premium on it from the get-go. And before we get into this, I did want to cover a little news we got from Flare Networks today. So they said, just a heads up, the blog was an example. The creation fee is in fact going to be market-based and will choose the lowest fee offered first. So essentially, when you're minting an F asset in their blogs, they use 5% as the flat rate to pay for minting F assets. And they had talked about that they might implement some sort of bidding system. And now it looks like it's officially announced if it's coming off their Twitter. I think the way this is essentially is going to work is that agents are going to provide Spark to be used as collateral at specific rates. And then, they'll be competing against each other to get people to mint F assets. If we have high demand for minting F assets, that creation fee is probably going to be a little higher. And if there's not a lot of people looking to mint F assets, then the agents are going to lower their fee rate to incentivize people to bring their assets on and use the Spark that they have for collateral. So I'm really excited about this, bringing some, true free market forces into the fold. And I think this is going to be really cool to see how this plays out. Now, moving on into our spreadsheet here, we're going to just briefly cover all of this once again. I'm going to go through some different quantities of assets that you can have and what that would look like, just so everybody out there has differing amounts of XRP and Spark that's going to be airdropped to them. So, we'll give people a little taste. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to start off with the $500 million worth of F assets minted on day one and $50 million worth of FLTC minted on day one. And, I think this number probably is high, but I just want to be a little conservative for what we're doing here. I'm thinking it's probably going to be anywhere from 100 to 200 million minted on the first day. And then, as far as the growth rate, I feel like that's going to be moving around a lot. It's not going to be steady. Obviously, this is a static example. So, we don't have dynamic market forces at play yet to, give us differing rates on each day. And, before I go into this, I probably should have mentioned it in the last video, but, I am not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. A model is only as good as the person or the humans that created it, as well as the human variables that are input. So all of that, stands true for this spreadsheet. I do feel pretty good about, how the formulas are calculating the rewards is accurate. I've had people look at it. You guys have been watching the videos. I haven't seen anybody, necessarily think anything looks way off. So I feel good about that. And, I'm going to keep researching into other projects and stuff to see what they did at launch to give an idea at what kind of usage rate we're going to see in the beginning, what's a long-term expectation for the Spark price as well as end of year, but that'll be in future videos. We'll cover that stuff. Well, so moving into this, I added a little price variance with the assets, and this is how much they're going to grow on a daily rate over the course of 180 days. You can see these are our starting prices, roughly around where they are today, except for Spark. I'm just going to say that it's $1 when it launches. And then over here, we can see what those numbers end up at. Obviously, XRP is growing the most out of all these assets. So XRP would be the best asset to hold outside of Litecoin between these three in regards to earning rewards from the general F asset rewards pool over time. If you had the same amount of all three of these assets in dollar value minted on day one, you would have more FXRP as time went on, which means you have greater exposure to that pool where the rewards are being delivered. Cool. And then you can see our user is going to start with, they had an airdrop for 2.5K Spark and 2.5K FXRP is minted on the first day that that's available. And this is essentially, we'll say 6,000. Honestly, it's a little less than $6,125 because they're only getting 15% of the Spark on day one. But I'm just going to, for the sake of how this model's set up, do it this way. So we'll just say they have $6,000 they're working with right off the bat. So basically all of this is going to be compounding from our rewards pool, and then the rewards pool compounding is going to funnel into the FTSO rewards compounding. So as you earn more Spark, you're going to have more Spark to participate with in the FTSO. And as we can see, after 180 days with all of our inputs, this person would end up with roughly 18,500 Spark earned, which if you include the airdrops they haven't gotten yet is roughly 21,000 Spark. And really with just the airdrop, they were going to get 2,500. And then if we look at this as far as like a dollar value, you can see that's pretty phenomenal yield this person got. Now that's with some price appreciation. If we were to take that out, let's see, still almost 3x. It's pretty crazy. So, this is why I'm really excited and why compounding money, especially daily, is extremely lucrative in the short run as well as the long run. If you think about when maybe you have some kind of interest rate that pays like twice a year or once a year with bonds, it's just not a lot of interest that's compounding, and you can't put your money back into your investment to keep earning more. But when it's happening daily and at the clip it's happening daily, especially in the beginning of Flare, it's going to be hugely important for you to basically earn a bunch in the early days before the Flare network gets widely adopted. And that's if it does. Personally, that's what I believe in, but we'll have to see. There's a whole nother market out there besides me, and they're going to make decisions on that. And so we'll go into our next example, keeping all the same inputs essentially, and we're going to raise this to 10K Spark. I remember when I first got into XRP, everybody's like, yeah, 10K is the number to have. So I think I've seen that still a lot, just like in chat rooms and on Twitter, that's a good number to have especially for someone starting off. If you can get to that point, I think you're in the top 10% of wallet holders. And then as we see here, this person starting with 10,000 FXRP, what is this? Roughly 1,500 Spark on day one. And I think it goes like 3,500 by the end of 6 months. They would almost have 74,000 Spark at the end of it. As you can see, great ROI and dollar value as well. And then we'll go back to our big person scenario. I wouldn't call this a whale by any means, but definitely someone that's put a good amount of value into digital assets. And with these rates, they could earn 370,000 Spark. It's kind of funny. See, I mean, whenever I look at this, I'm just kind of like, mind blown at how much rewards there could be. And, it just kind of leaves me speechless. Like that's insane to me. And I mean, even if we're going back to our no price movement with where we're at currently today, I mean, that's just amazing to see, 3x just by participating in a network where you either had paid for an asset that can be used there, or you're getting airdrop Spark just for holding XRP. So it's really crazy. I'm really excited about this. This didn't even take into account people purchasing Spark on day one, which will help you earn FTSO rewards quicker. And then also, I just want to, for the sake of an example, I'm going to lower this to, let's see, 150 million. Let's see if I can do this on the fly here. Oh, missed it by one, but cool. So, maybe this is where I think it's going to be more in line with is 150 million on the first day. Maybe in the first week, that's what it's going to be. We'll see how people feel about minting F assets. I know, especially a lot of XRP holders have always been like, not your keys, not your crypto. Well, this is different. You're putting your assets into smart contracts. So that is a change of, ideals for XRP holders. And I'm just curious to see how quickly they're going to want to adopt Flare. I mean, if that yield that we were going over is like it is that amount in the first few weeks, I imagine people are going to start piling in. Cool. So we have our 150 million F asset value minted. I'm going to take this back down to 10,000. And so we can see this person would earn 156K over that period, same kind of F asset growth rate as before. But I just kind of want to go over to the rewards pool. Only 10,000 FXRP minted. And if there's 150 million in F asset value minted, you'd be roughly getting almost 2,000 Spark on the first day. So, I mean, that's a ton just for minting 10,000 FXRP. And so you can see like if this number is even lower and you have a good amount of XRP that you're going to mint, it could end up being really high. Now, like, maybe 1 billion is minted in the first day or the first week. That's definitely a possibility. Right now, I don't see it, but it doesn't like destroy you. 300 from 2,000. Yeah, it's a decent amount of a difference, but if you go throughout the whole thing, this person still would have earned 17,000 Spark over the first 180 days just from the rewards pool. Yeah, I mean, I'm curious what everybody thinks about how many people are going to be minting F assets. Comment down below. And, I'd like to get a gauge on what people are thinking to help with, kind of thinking out the first, couple of weeks to month of Flare so we can discuss in the future. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up for the spreadsheet portion of this video. Just so in case anybody doesn't know, we have a website called the DeFiStandard.com with content from me, Mickey, and Lars is on here. And we have a ton of stuff on the Flare network that you can look at. Oh, it's going to load slow for me now, but yeah. So we have a bunch of like blogs, like guides on or diagrams rather on how the ecosystem works and all that stuff. So highly encourage y'all to check that out. Like if you ever just need to get a question answered, you could try coming here. There's a lot of resources like links to the Flare blogs, the white paper. We're getting it updated with the Flare finance information. And yeah, we're going to keep working on this and hopefully it'll be built up pretty good by the middle of June. I'm going to have some more time to work on it here in the near future. And then I know a few people were asking about if I'm going to release this spreadsheet to the public. Not right now. It's possible I may do that closer to launch. Right now, it's just something that we're offering to our Patreon members to say thank you for supporting us and allowing me and Mickey to make the time to do all this work. So that's kind of how that's going to go for now. But I appreciate all you guys who watch the channel. And I'm really excited for what's about to come here in the next like month and a half or so, maybe 2 months. And we're going to have a really fun 6-month period as the Flare network finally gets going and we see like what happens, how are all the dynamics of the Flare network, like Spark being locked up as collateral, how is that going to affect the price in the long term? Are people going to want to mint their assets into F assets to earn, pretty easy yield. It's not particularly rocket science. You just have to mint enough asset, and if you hold it, you're going to earn yield. All you got to do is, press a couple of buttons to delegate your Spark vote and earn yield. So we'll see how that plays out. I imagine once people see that this is a potential gold mine, not financial advice, just my opinion, that they're going to rush in quickly. I think people are always going to go where the value is. And, if people aren't taking, what would it be? An opportunity to come in here. Others are going to see it and they're going to come and buy these F assets so they can get them on the system if they didn't have them before. Well, that's going to end my thoughts. And I'm Patty XRP with the DeFi Standard, and we're done for now.